The decline of Maratha Empire. Introduction. The Maratha Empire was a major power in India from the late 17th century to the mid-19th century. It was established by the Maratha warrior king Shivaji in the 17th century and reached its zenith under the rule of the Peshwa Baji Rao Phaum in the early 18th century. However, by the mid-19th century, the Maratha Empire had declined significantly, leading to the establishment of British colonial rule over much of India. Reasons for the decline of the Maratha Empire. Internal factors. Lack of centralization. One of the major reasons for the decline of the Maratha Empire was the lack of centralization in its administration. Weak leadership. The Maratha Empire was also plagued by weak leadership, as many of its rulers were unable to effectively manage their territories or enforce their authority. Internal disunity. The Maratha Empire was composed of a confederacy of independent states, each with its own ruler. For example, the conflict between the Peshwa and the Gaekwad rulers in the late 18th century weakened the Maratha Empire and made it vulnerable to attack from the British. Lack of technological advancement and poor battle tactics. The Maratha Empire was at a disadvantage in terms of technological advancements compared to the British East India Company, which had access to superior weapons and employed more effective military tactics. These factors played a role in the Maratha Empire's defeat in battles against the British. Economic instability. The Maratha Empire faced significant economic instability, with declining revenue from agriculture and trade and increasing military expenses. The economic instability made it difficult for the Maratha rulers to maintain their military power, leading to a decline in their political influence.
External factors. The rise of British colonial power. The British East India Company, which was established in India in 1600, gradually gained control over much of the Indian subcontinent through trade and military expansion. The Maratha Empire was one of the last major Indian powers to resist British colonial rule, but its decline made it easier for the British to gain control. The Third Anglo-Maratha War, 1817–1818, marked the end of Maratha resistance and the beginning of British colonial rule over much of India. The decline of the Mughal Empire. The Maratha Empire was also affected by the decline of the Mughal Empire, which had been the dominant power in India for centuries. The decline of the Mughal Empire led to the rise of regional powers like the Marathas, but also contributed to the instability and disunity that plagued the subcontinent. The Maratha Empire was unable to fill the power vacuum left by the Mughals and was gradually overshadowed by the rise of British colonial power. Conclusion. The decline of the Maratha Empire was the result of a combination of internal and external factors. The lack of centralization, weak leadership, and economic instability, combined with the rise of British colonial power and the decline of the Mughal Empire, led to the decline of the Maratha Empire till the 19th century. The decline of the Maratha Empire was a significant event in Indian history and paved the way for the establishment of British colonial rule over much of India.